Good morning. I'm so glad that everyone could be here to join us on this Youth Sunday. I know that personally, I've always looked up to all the seniors who are standing up here preaching, and I must say it is slightly surreal. I do feel pretty tall, must say, kind of cool. It's also surreal considering that I have not been back in the sanctuary in far too long. COVID has been, well, we all know how it's been. That's not to say, however, that everything about this pandemic has been bad. I think some, interactions out in public have certainly changed, maybe some for the better. You know that moment when you're at the grocery store, you're putting your groceries on the conveyor belt, and of course you're standing in a line, and that person behind you in line just has to stand right there next to you. They're ready to put those cabbages on the conveyor belt. Just one little and suddenly everyone in that store is just dying to give you that 6 feet of space. This is not to trivialize the pandemic, though. I know the hardships of fear and loss that far too many of us have had to go through. I'm sure I can speak for everyone here when I say that our thoughts, our prayers, and our well wishes go with all of you. We're so close to the end of this, and I know that as long as we work together, we can get through this. On a subject that is not too far removed from helping each other through a pandemic, I'd like to talk about love. As a quick preface, I am about to say the word love a lot. In our gospel reading today, Jesus was talking to his disciples about love. In this reading, he speaks on the commandments of love that he has given to his disciples. The timing of this passage is also very important because this is one of the last times that Jesus speaks to his disciples before he is crucified. In this meeting, he takes two distinct actions as he speaks to his disciples. The first of these is that he honors them. Jesus makes the distinction that these people who have followed him for so long are no longer subservient to him. They're no longer below him. He says, "I do not call you servants any longer, because the servant does not know what the master is doing. But I have called you friends, because I have made known to you everything that I have heard from my Father." A precedent is set. No one is above or below anyone else. Those of us who were baptized at birth are not the masters of those of us who were baptized yesterday. Though there may be those of us who are more knowledgeable, there may be those who can help guide us on our paths, but no one is above the other. We are all brothers and sisters in Christ. We are all with Christ equally. The second thing that Jesus continues to speak to his disciples, saying more important things. It's like, no one has greater love than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends. And you did not choose me, but I chose you. Now, loving someone is certainly difficult. How have I lost my place? This is going so well. Now, loving someone is difficult. Love may come to us easily, but it is hard to continue. Here on Mother's Day, I know that my mother loves me most of the time. But I know that love comes with difficulties. She still loves me, even though I make decisions she doesn't agree with. She has to support me physically, monetarily, and emotionally. Now, she does this with happiness, and I have my fingers crossed that she does this without regrets. But they are still sacrifices. If you love someone, those are the sacrifices that you make as well, be you mother, father, child, spouse, or anyone else who loves. Is love worth this sacrifice? Is love worth losing money? Is love worth losing the stress that comes with relationships? Is love worth heartbreak? Now, I feel like a lot of us here already know the answer to these questions, but it is important to know that love is not free. We work for love, we work to love. The second action that Jesus takes as he speaks to his disciples is his attempt to prepare his friends for his death. The reading ends as Jesus says, "I am giving you these commands so that you may love one another." We should hope, however, that the disciples of Jesus have already been loving one another. I feel like following the guy whose love is kind of Jesus' thing, if you haven't heard that, following that guy for a couple of years makes it seem like you would already be loving one another. Instead, I believe that Jesus is telling his disciples that he is giving them these commands so that they may love one another even after Jesus dies. Loving someone after they die is not incomprehensible. In fact, it might even be easier to love someone after they die as we think back on the good memories that we have with them. The challenge comes with loving anything else after a death. It can be almost impossible to love anything after a death. Jesus has just told his disciples that they were no longer his servants, but his friends. So while Jesus says he is commanding them to love, this feels more like a request. Please continue to love. Please continue to love even after I die. Even though you feel loss, even though you may feel that you can do nothing but despair, please still try to love. There are sacrifices with love. There is heartbreak with love, but we can't hide from it. We cannot fear love. Love brings out the best in us. It brings joy. It can bring light where no light had shone before. It makes life worth living. Love makes us human. So go and love earnestly. Love your mothers, love your fathers, love your sisters and your brothers. And while you're at it, maybe try to love yourself every once in a while. Maybe we can avoid hugging everyone that we see until everyone's a little bit more vaccinated. But hold love in your hearts. We all need it. Thank you.